we're coming down to the end of the Fiero triple build. And this is going to be the last episode. We're going to have the reveal in a minute. But I just wanted to show you guys one last little bit of detailing that I decided to add, just a spur of the moment thing. Because, sure, why not? I could be done with this, but I figured let me make my life a little more difficult. So, I've decided that, as you know, the Fiero carries its spare tire in the front compartment. So, what's involved in that is the jack, which is already in the car, you've seen, the spare tire, which also gets mounted inside the front compartment. Now, the one thing that's missing is our crow's foot or tire iron. So we're going to make one here really quick. It's really easy. I'm just going to show you exactly how I do it. First thing I do is I take a thin piece of sprue. I just give it a little bend at the end there. We need a small little right angle bend there just to give us our tire iron shape. Then we're going to strip it. This is one of the easiest little bits of detailing that just adds I don't know, just fun. No real reason other than that to do it. Once we get our nice little bit of sprue made up here, we're now going to cut the straight end of the tire iron into a sharp point, as the original tire iron also has a end that's almost like a chiseled end. So what we're going to do is we're going to just cut it almost to like a chiseled end. Is anybody ever going to see this? Nah, probably not. So does it really matter? Do you really have to do it? Nah, not really. Okay, let's bring it out a little bit here. So as you can see now, if you can't see it, we have our pointy end. And now we're going to make our I don't even know what you'd call that, the socket end of the crow's foot. Now the way I do that is I take a piece of shrink tubing. Now remember, we just want to have the small socket end that you're actually going to put on the lug nut when you're changing the tire. So we're just going to cut a small piece of the shrink tubing, probably about that much. And all we're going to do is, if I can pick it up here, put that small piece of shrink tubing on the end of our tire iron here. We're going to do that right about a little more right there. Then what we're going to do is we're going to shrink it down. Let's give it a little bit more. Right there. And we're going to shrink it down. Whoop. See, we can do that without there we go. I think that's good right there. So now we have our tire iron with our socket end, and we're going to have to cut this down right here. Alright, so now we have our tire iron with our flared out end. Okay, so now here we have our finished tire iron. Now what we're going to do is I found a color that I have that is very, very close, if not almost exactly like the original color of the tire iron, which is, to me, XF83 medium gray. I tried it out already, and it comes out to a beautiful, almost exact match for the tire iron. So we're going to put a little paint on this. Alright guys, and here we have it mounted in the front of Fiero Blue, exactly the way it is in the real car. Now that's going to also need to have the spare tire installed right above it. Slide it down in there and it will be set. Just another little detail to add to the front end to bring more of the real car to life. Alright, this is going to be the last step of the build, so stay tuned for the big reveal for all three cars coming right up. Alright guys, that's gonna bring to a close one of the longest builds that I have been involved with in quite a while. And you guys know my builds take me quite a bit of time to get through. But this was a lot of fun. Romaldo, I'm gonna get these things out to you as soon as I can. Hopefully you've been following the build and you're gonna love receiving these. So you guys know everything that I've put into this. This has been a really fun, entertaining build where I've gotten to correct a lot of the flaws in this kit And I've gotten a few ideas for correcting a few more flaws, which I didn't even think about while I was building these. So you will be seeing more Fiero GTs on the channel as we go upon turning this, I don't want to call it a mediocre kit, because it really isn't a bad, well, no. Let me rephrase that. Let me give you my honest opinion of this kit. Putting it together the way it was intended, it seems to me that there was a lot of stuff that wasn't really well thought out, as you can tell by looking at Fiero Gray. Let's move these two guys out of the picture for a minute there. If we look at Fiero Gray, you can see that as one of the wheels falls off, which I've got to fix that. You can see that they didn't really put too much thought into the stance of the car, as it's just one of the worst features of this car is the way it sits on its wheels, which is completely incorrect. The wing doesn't belong on this car. This is a wing off of a third gen F-body car, Firebird. So it's probably some old tooling. They thought they'd save a couple of bucks by just reusing the tooling for the wing. Yeah, no, that doesn't work for me. Other than that, it's chock full of details. You have a full engine compartment, which, again, had they put a little more thought into it, you would have been able to open it a little more than this. But it's a nice feature nonetheless. Opening rear deck lid so you can see the very nicely detailed engine. And ignore the wheel that just fell off. I still got to fix that. Really nice interior. Proportions are a little incorrect on certain things, and some of the details weren't exactly correct. Even in the instructions, they tell you to put some things together, which is not correct. It's almost as if, I'm going to gather that when they put this model together, they were running off of a lot of outdated information, or information that didn't apply to this car, that they just used as generic information on many GM vehicles. And they just applied it to this car, probably thinking, yeah, it's, it's a Pontiac, it's a Firebird. Same difference, except the engine's in the wrong place. Well, sorry, dude. That's not quite right. So this is what you'll build if you build it out of the box. And this is something I will never do again as I build more of these kits, which I plan on building quite a few more. This is what you can build if you just go over it and change what they've done wrong. Now there's a few things still that, as I said, I came up with after I was finished with the cars, and I thought, this could be just a little bit better. So I did come up with a few more ideas on how I can improve this kit, which we will delve with in a future build, because these are my this will make 4 Fieros in a row. I'm a little Fiero'd out right now. Much as I love the car, I want to build something a little different for my next project, so I won't be doing another Fiero for a little while longer. But these were all based on my buddy Romaldo's car. All of the aftermarket interior details are in there. He's got a lot of products from the Fiero store, which is, you're a Fiero owner, you're very familiar with them. He's got their audio system in there. He's got the Mike Good glove box in there. And I've reproduced them all. If you follow the build, you can, I've reproduced everything that he had in his car. To put into this car. And as he requested, I was able to get custom tail light bar made up that says Racer X. He's a big Speed Racer fan, along with his license plate. And this car just came out really, really nice. I was very, very happy with it. The chassis detailing came out fantastic. All of the red accents that he's added to the car, I have added to this one. As far as the suspension goes, gas tank, you can see the red sway bar. Again, another Fiero store product. and it just really came out nice. And the stance is a little bit lower than what a stock Fiero would sit, but I think it looks fantastic, and I think he's going to be very happy with it. All the decals from STS, they did a fantastic job reproducing the decals that I needed, and the bare metal foil badge really worked out nicely. So I was really very happy with this car. And the wing I fabricated for it based off of the monogram kit, which was really interesting. It was my first time trying something like that, and I think I almost got it just right. I've seen a couple of places where I can make a few improvements on it for the next one, but for my first time doing this, he gets the premier wings on his car. And this pretty much is a one-of-a-kind build, as it represents his Fiero, not just a Fiero. Now let's move on to Fiero Blue, which is his other Fiero. And again, this car represents his car. Now, his blue Fiero is a stock, I think it's an 86. And you can see we have the two-tone paint represented. Brilliant blue paint job. His license plates on there. Again, the STS decals, fantastic. I'm very happy, and I can't say enough about how great those decals worked out. We're fully detailed on the interior with the engine, carpeting in the trunk. Got our spark plug wires. We have everything in there exactly the way it should be. Our front compartments are also fully detailed. And one change I made was that I made the hood removable so that you could really get in there and see all of the detailing. And one of the things that you can now do, since I did alter the hood hinge, is that now you can display it with the hood open, just that it would be in the real car. Now take a look in there and we can see all of that detail work in there. I mean, it's really just brimming with details in that front compartment. And my last addition, as I said in the beginning of this video, was making the tire iron. Let's just remove the hood. We'll give you guys one good look in there. Here you can see the tire iron mounted behind the spare tire. I'm kind of surprised that MPC, they recreated basically everything else in here, and they didn't do the tire iron. I was a little surprised about that. It would have been pretty easy to do, and it just gets glued in right behind the spare tire. Now, one little feature which I decided to leave was I didn't glue in the sunroof. As you know, if you're a Fiero owner, the Fiero sunroof is stored within the front compartment. So I didn't glue that in so that he could place it in there if he wanted to display it with the hood open. I just thought, you know, it might be cool to be able to display it with the sunroof in its stored position. Which I think that's just kind of a neat little feature to give you a little variation in your display if you want to, you know, just poke around with it a little bit. Because if he's anything like me with the models, every once in a while I pull them out just to look at them and check out the detailing that's in there. I really just like looking at them. So something like this would be, I would really like if it was mine, because then it would give me a really neat option for storing the sunroof like the real car. Fortunately, you cannot close the hood completely with the sunroof in place because there's not enough room in there. But displaying it with the hood open, and just got to get it just right. There we go. And the sunroof in the front compartment, just like the real car. So guys, um, I gotta admit, I really enjoyed these builds. I really enjoyed sorting this kit out and fixing all of the major flaws that I found with it. And I'm looking forward to building more at a future date. Now, as for my rating on this kit, I really enjoyed this build, but the kit itself, despite all the details that NPC put into this thing, which I'm all for because I love detail, the fit of a lot of the parts and the final stance that you get, which shows me that there wasn't a lot of thought put into that. I gotta give this, on a scale of 1 to 10, I gotta give this kit probably about a 5. Yeah, I think a 5 would be a fair enough assessment of it, because there are quite a few flaws in it, and you can't fix them if you put the extra effort in. But just based on the kit as it's intended to be built, I'm gonna say a 5 would be fair enough. Mostly because it got that high because of all the extra details they added. But it could have been a lot higher had they just thought out the suspension, included the correct rear wing, done a little better with the wipers. As you guys saw, I had to put in photo etch wipers because I really wasn't happy with the wipers as you see them on Fiero Gray. The way the mirrors mount on the body, I also wasn't happy with that, so that had to be corrected. So there were quite a few corrections that had to be made. So for me, that actually makes it a much more interesting kit to build because it gives me a lot more to do. And that also means that if you're looking at bang for your buck, kit quality, fine. We're going with a 5 on that. But bang for your buck, a kit that is going to keep you entertained for quite a while, keep you busy, keep you working, keep you really using your head to figure out and solve problems, which if you like doing that, like I do, that is a huge plus as far as model building. It's nice to have them just basically put themselves together, but when you have to make it work, that to me is where I get most of my enjoyment. So bang for your buck, I would give this kit, if you want to put in all the extra work, probably an 8 or a 9. It goes that high. Because there is so much that you have to do to try and get this thing right, that for me, it adds to the enjoyment of the build. Because instead of having you spend your money on these kits, and these kits are not cheap now. I mean, they're trending from between $60 to $100 for a sealed NPC Fiero GT. And you're going to spend that kind of money. You want to really have something that's going to entertain you for a while, so you get the most for your money. And these kits, building these 3 all at once has entertained me for quite a while, solving the problems, figuring out how to get it to look the way I want it to look, which really brought a lot more enjoyment to the build for me. So yeah, bang for your buck. I put these very high up. Matter of fact, I would rate this higher than a few Tamiya kits that I've built, which were just so quick and easy to go together that the enjoyment ends very, very quickly. And then they become more of a painting exercise than an actual problem solving or building exercise, which is what these kits were. And for me, that's where the enjoyment in this hobby comes from. So yeah, kit quality, we'll give it a 5. But bang for your buck, we're gonna go 8. Which means for me, it's definitely a kit I would seek out and definitely want to build. Because of, when was the last time you spent, let's say you buy it on the high end, $100, and got months and months of enjoyment out of it. That to me seems like a good return on a dollar.
I'd buy that for $1.
So that's going to be it, guys. I'm done with this build, these 3 builds, and we'll be coming back with some new and interesting things on the channel. Got a lot of stuff planned, and gonna go a little different for the next couple of builds. And hopefully you guys will come along for the ride. So remember, hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't. I know a bunch of you guys out there watch, but you're not subscribed. So just subscribe, join up. It's free. And follow along for the ride, because a lot of interesting stuff coming up. All right, guys. I will see you on the next one.